everyone. I am here, Melissa MacLeod, with the Pointing It Out podcast. My partner in crime, Megan Holmes, and I kind of co-host this craziness that we do every couple of weeks. And normally I would tell you that I am recording from my shop in Grosse, Michigan, the Wool and the Floss. But I am super fortunate because this weekend I am here at the Stitcher's Garden in Naperville, just outside of Chicago. And tomorrow I get to be at Emily's Stitchery in Northbrook. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good. So this will drop at 9 p.m. tonight, Eastern time, but I'm in the Central Time Zone this go around. And I am super fortunate because I was invited as a retreat attendee, and in full disclosure, Megan was also invited, but she was not able to make it. She's busy. But I'm here loud and proud, and Chicago is a fabulous city. But this is the Needlepoint Is Cool retreat. And my two co-hosts are here with me. Deb, she and I met in 2018. It was her first market in the fall in Dallas, right? 2017. See, I can't ever get my facts right. And it was her first market. She was behind me in line at registration. She asked me some question like, is this where we get our name tags or something silly? I don't know what the question was now. But that was many a year ago. And we have been like Needlepoint besties ever since. And then through Deb, I was fortunate enough to meet Emily. Although I actually met you when I went to a class, the Classic Stitch, right? Because Emily was part of the Classic Stitch for quite a while, and now she owns her own shop. And what was it called before Emily's Stitchery?
North Shore Needleworks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The name.
So these two got together and said, what the heck? We are, and this is one of the really, really great things about the needlepoint industry is it's a very collaborative industry. You know, I do the podcast with Megan Holmes. These two do a lot of business together, a lot of sharing of, I think, information, a sharing of products. Like my customer needs this. Do you have it? So it's just, we're very fortunate to be in a really collaborative industry. So, I've been doing retreats for a while. This is your very first retreat, right?
It is our first retreat.
I know you've hosted classes like national teacher classes.
Yes.
Have you had national teachers here?
A couple.
Okay. And I of course forget something like I always do. I didn't give you a proper name. This is Deb
Friel.
We just discussed the fact that Emily and I have been saying her name wrong for like 8 years.
Really over
So-
8.
And Emily, I don't know, I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I might say it wrong. That's how I always say it. Okay, that's good.
Mine's
Just
easy.
in case I
Mine's
was
easy.
saying that wrong.
It messes everyone up.
It
Yes.
does.
So how did this whole retreat idea come to be? You've had national teachers. I'm sorry, what was your answer for national?
We've had a couple.
Yes. So you both have done that. And that's a little bit different because you bring in a teacher. It's a more limited number of people.
And limited opportunity. If you're taking a class, you have a teacher who teaches the whole class. There's not a lot of shopping going on,
Right.
not a lot of downtime to stitch.
And
Really,
chat.
and chat and hang
And-
out and just meet people.
I will say from having our retreats, people say, I got next to no stitching done. All I did was talk and shop and
Right.
chat and talk and had the best time of their lives. So you two, tell me how this whole retreat was born.
So, as most shop owners, were on social media frequently. And Emily,
A little farther. so I can see your face.
we all follow each other on the industry. And as Melissa said, it's very collaborative. We want other needlepoint stores to be successful. If you have a local shop and you're visiting, we encourage you to go to your local shop.
Absolutely.
The internet, especially from COVID, has made many of us local shops for people that don't live in our area. It's just how it is. So Emily was on social media.
And there was somebody who had like a sweatshirt that said making needlepoint cool again.
Making the
Making
key
it.
phrase. And I'm
Making
like,
needlepoint
wait,
cool.
what?
And I'm like, needlepoint has always been cool. I've been doing it for 25 years. I know these ladies have been doing it.
I've been stitching since I was 7.
So there you go.
Do the
Yeah.
math.
So it's always been cool. And I wanted everybody to know that doing this is fun for everyone. We're a welcoming community. We, as you can see, shop owners are friends. We have other shop owners here who are friends hanging out. We want it to be a collaborative hobby. So I want to say needlepoint is cool and it will always be cool. So that's where it kind of came from. And I'd made like a bag, little tote bag, gave my friends some tote bags. And then we were talking at market
And we were like, we should
do
do
it.
a retreat. Let's do
Make
it.
it cool, have fun.
And how far apart are your two shops?
About an hour
An
and
hour.
a half.
Yeah,
Oh, it's that far?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And in traffic.
In
I'm
traffic.
going tomorrow. Tomorrow I will know this,
Right.
but you guys have a nice little shuttle, right?
Yep, we have
We do,
shuttle
we
for
have
everybody from the
shuttle.
hotel to our stores each day. So yeah, and we have class both
This
days.
afternoon and tomorrow.
Yeah, so let's talk about the schedule. I showed up at the hotel this morning, but I think a lot of people came last night, right?
Yes, we have stitching in the evening at the hotel. Nice big room with snacks and treats.
Oh, look at that. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
out with my
We
kids.
have that tonight too.
Okay, well, good. Then I won't miss it tonight. So the hotel is in Oak Brook, right?
Mhm.
And so most everyone's staying at the hotel, but I think you have a couple local
We
stitches.
have a few locals that are going home.
And how,
But some locals are staying at the hotel.
Yeah, a
too,
lot
for
of
fun.
locals are staying.
yeah, why not?
It's
It's a-
a
it's a-
girls' weekend.
It's a break. Get away from.
I love it.
And if you're local, you're still out of town unless you live in Oak Brook.
True
That's
story.
true.
Right?
True story. So, you have 19 stitchers here?
Yes.
Okay, and is your shop the same size as Deb's?
I think layout is different.
My layout's different. I have two storefronts. One's
Okay.
a classroom and one's another shop.
Gotcha.
So it's a little different.
And lunch has been delivered, but so we all arrived here at 10 on the shuttle from the hotel. They made some really nice announcements. There are, and I'll show you guys in a second, some whoever did pulled together all your branding, and I believe the magical person is Meredith.
Meredith.
Absolutely, Meredith. She kept us together. I think
She has worked a lot of magic. Everywhere I looked around, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so cute, and they're all dressed in on-brand colors. I didn't get the memo, so I'm sorry. I'm in blue and white.
Your pinky orange.
The same thing. So people have been shopping, they've been talking, lunch is being brought in. Then this afternoon, and we'll talk about that in further detail this afternoon, Christine Kingston is here, so you'll meet her in a minute. She's teaching Canvas that is brand new out of the pipe. And then tomorrow, is it kind of repeated the same?
be the same. Stitch
But we'll be at
stitching in the
Emily's
morning
store.
and then shopping and then afternoon class. And then tomorrow night, if people are staying, it's stitching in the hotel again.
Awesome.
So
Well,
2.5 days.
you guys
of
have done a
fun.
great job. So you have your own website. Well, your stores each have your own
Yes.
website,
Right.
but you have a website that is Needlepoint Is Cool, correct?
Dot com.
.com.
Okay, so here is their little logo. It is so fun and cute. And yeah, you'll be seeing it forwards. I'm filming it backwards, but I think Zoom's smart and films it forward. So it also says, if you know, you know. And this has been in the works for a while because I have to show off this little bracelet. Patty, who works for Deb, was at market what's that?
This year she gave him that, I think.
No,
No,
was it last year?
last
Last
fall.
year, yeah.
Yeah, last fall.
And she handed me this little bracelet that says Needlepoint Is Cool, and if you know, you know. And I'm like, it's really sweet, but why is she doing this? Okay, and I put it on, and I've been wearing it ever since.
Yep.
And then when did you call me about this retreat? Maybe it's May, maybe in November.
November.
Probably,
November.
yeah.
Right after market.
Oh, that's why
Right.
we're giving out those bracelets. I get it now. So I think this merch is only available in the store this weekend, but you guys will have a website.
Actually, I have the version that Melissa held up is on our website and you can go ahead and order it directly.
And Emily's, I think you said
I have
be
the-
on
The,
your.
the next bag you're showing, I
Okay.
have on my website.
So this will be, so
they
you're
can-
available at Citrus Garden or Emily Stitchery. So that's the little project bag, and then a darling tote, which I'm blocking out my face, but you guys can see it. Super cute. I'm looking underneath to make sure it's being shown. It's got a nice gusset to
Mhm.
it.
Big, great project bag.
All the measurements are on the
Really
website.
fun, really fun. And then Christine Kingston has a good friend named Sally Moore.
Sally Moore.
Because I've carried these before, but you have these exclusively made for the
Mhm,
retreat
mhm.
attendees, and again, available later on. But this is just a little decoupage ort bowl. It's glass, so you need to be a little careful with it. But look at the leopard print. You guys know I love a good leopard print, a good animal print. And then this little ceramic. It could be a coaster. It could hold your tools. And then I already put this in my basket to buy. I love these laying tools from our friend Sandy. And this is colorway is exclusive to you all.
Exclusive to us.
So it is fantastic. So I was really excited to pick this up for myself. So tell me, you have another retreat already planned that's already full?
in November,
November.
November is
second and third.
at capacity.
Yep.
And then
There's the wait list. You can
So you can
be
sign
added
up.
to the wait list.
unfortunately, people always have to cancel, like
Yes.
real
Yes.
life happens to stitchers, unfortunately. So yeah, always hop on a wait list. And then do you have a future date in mind? Or
November second and third.
No,
after
after
that.
that.
No.
Probably next May again.
Okay, but nothing set in place yet.
No, not yet.
Well, I'll tell you what we can not to do it. 'Cause I'll tell you when the Pointing It Out podcast.
Oh, perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah, we don't want to fight with you.
But
I want you guys to be able to come.
yes, so you guys have just knocked it out of the park. I mean, I've
Thank
only
you.
been
So
here
glad
for
you
an hour and
came.
a half, so
All right.
and I'm already like having so much fun. I haven't stitched a thing yet.
Neither.
But we'll get there. We'll get there. So I'm going to bring on a couple more retreat guests as well as Christine Kingston, our guest teacher, their guest teacher. And so hold on a minute. We'll be right back. So we are back and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Christine Kingston. And if you've been watching the podcast, you met Christine before because you
We've
were on
done
the
this.
podcast
We
with
did this,
Megan, right?
Megan last August.
Yes, yes. So, and you know what? I was remiss. I should have described the items better that I talked about earlier because I know a lot of you are listening to this on audio. So Christine and I are going to do our best to describe things that those of you on YouTube are seeing. And I was remiss in that earlier with Deb and Emily, but
We can do
No.
that.
that's what it is. So Christine, you got involved with this. I know, like, I just got an invitation last November. I think we just figured out that when they
We did
created
this-
this retreat.
We
So,
did that, I think it was in Dallas over a couple of
okay.
beverages after market.
So you were one
And
of
cooked up
the,
this idea.
you
Yeah,
were one of the initial, like, and I'll come and
Yep.
I want to be a part of this.
yep,
So,
absolutely was.
yeah, so super fun. So Christine has a fabulous line of canvases. If you're not familiar with her canvases, they're distributed through Chris Lewis Distributing.
Mhm.
And we have sold a lot of your striped spooky
Spooky.
canvas. That was a favorite in our shop. And we picked up your eek, which has the
Yep.
stripes in the background. It says eek and has a spider on it, right?
It has 3 spiders, I
Three
think.
spiders, okay.
Mhm.
And so when you cooked up this plan, well, when Deb and Emily cooked up the plan and then dragged you into it
Willingly,
very willingly,
very willingly.
you said,
I said, what
teach a
should, I
canvas?
said, I'll teach a canvas. I'd love to come. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's very, I've always thought Needlepoint's cool. And it always will be. So I'm happy to join that parade. But we were trying to figure out what to do, and I'm not a huge Halloween fan, contrary to what people may think, since some of my most popular pieces are Halloween.
well, I talk all
Um,
the time that I love to stitch Halloween, but I actually don't really like Halloween.
I don't mind stitching Halloween. So we were trying to find something that wasn't already part of the line, that was different, that was more fall, so that people that didn't like Halloween could still do something and find it interesting and not something they would be turned off by. But we didn't
Nice.
really tell anybody what the canvas was.
Well, I know
Before
that
they
I
got
didn't
here.
know,
Nobody knew.
but I didn't know if everybody didn't know.
Nobody knew.
So, you know,
Nobody
I
knew.
just
It was a
like the
surprise for
show,
everyone.
yeah.
Yes, it was
So,
a surprise for everybody.
and it's gorgeous. Christine is
So
an
it is.
outstanding stitcher.
It is 3 pumpkins on stripes, because we like that.
So cute.
And
I
there
can hold
are,
it, you can
as I said,
describe it.
and there are the background stripe stitches are composite stitches with 3 and 4 layers of threads and beads,
Gosh,
and
so
2 simple ones, because everybody needs something that's a little easy to accomplish.
yes, and it has to be a nice balance, right?
And and that's what it is. It's usually some kind of a straight stitch. And then the pumpkins all have different leaves going in different directions, and everything is beaded. There are more beads on this canvas than I think either Spooky or Boo, and maybe even put together.
Really pretty. And
So-
but I always tell stitchers, like, if beading puts you off, which
Then just
use a nice sparkle thread, throw in a French knot, throw in just a cross stitch or a 10 stitch. So I don't think you absolutely have to do all the beading.
Yeah, you don't
But
have to do the
beading is
beading, but it's not-
easier than people think it is.
I think people get discouraged because they think it's really hard. It's just a 10 stitch. When you come up, you just put a bead on and you go back down again.
Right.
Or it's a brick stitch. You come up, you put a bead on and you go back down again.
Well, and
It's
part of
not
the
that
trick
hard.
with many things is having the right tools. So
It is.
having the proper beading tool, having beading thread
Thread.
that is cooperative.
Yes.
Do you use clear? Do you
I
like to
use,
colored?
I use clear Gutermann, and I think it's very cooperative because it's a little hard. It's
Right,
stiff,
you're just
so it's much
thread.
easier to thread the needle, which is the hardest part of beading.
Yes, although I'm on the opposite side, so there's never a right or a wrong answer in needlepoint. I prefer Sundance beading thread, which is basically like, to simplify it, a floss that has been waxed, so it has a little stiffness to it. And it doesn't knot as much. Sometimes.
Yes, the
Gutermann
Gutermann
will
cannot.
knot
I
Because it comes
just-
on a tight spool,
Very tight spool. It's easy for me to get.
but there's no
But I have
right or
both.
wrong
It just-
answer.
It depends on what's in the bag when I start.
I do
and-
too. I just, yeah, what
Depends on what's in the bag.
and occasionally you have to have clear, but in this
Yes,
case, it
but
looks like you could
You
have
could,
color.
you could do color, and one of the nice things about colored thread is if you're using a clear bead, you can sort of alter the color of the bead with
Right.
the colored thread,
Yes.
which you can't do with clear thread. But the beads I chose, most of them were not totally clear. So it didn't really matter. We didn't need colored thread, but colored thread is important when you're using a clear bead. So,
Really nice. Well, it is a
But-
beautiful project. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So that will be this afternoon after lunch. We're gonna
Yeah.
start stitching away. So
Mhm.
I'm excited. And then we've got
It's
a
a great
couple
group
fun
of
dates
people.
together.
It's a great group of people.
And
It's fun, and
I'm gonna
it's
introduce
always fun.
everyone to a few more of them. What I didn't touch base on is where are you from?
I am from Baltimore.
Okay, so far we've had Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore. I think we're gonna get a little California, a little Connecticut in here.
Little Charleston.
Yeah, I haven't talked to everybody where they're from, and I should have asked that
It's interesting. It's fun because you never know who's coming to a retreat, but you always leave with new friends.
for sure. And
And even
everyone
if you don't
stands
know
out
anybody, you make
for
new
sure.
friends.
And I tell people that all the time when we do our putting it out retreats. I think the people that almost get the most out of it are the people that come
They
by
come alone
themselves.
because it's easier. There's not a built-in friend to chat with.
Yeah.
And then today we separated some of the built-in friend groups.
And I know that, and we won't talk to these gals, but there's 3 gals here that met through stitching at
Mhm.
retreats, and now they go to retreats together. So friendships are built.
It is, and
time.
it's fun, and or you run into somebody, like we have 2 people that didn't realize they shop at the same store.
Yeah,
So that was kind of nice because they don't seem to run into each other when they're shopping. It's just fun to see where everybody's from, but the common bond is that everybody loves to stitch
for sure.
and
for sure.
everyone's kind.
Okay, well, I'm gonna grab
Thank you.
Lisa next, and I will be right back. So I am back, and I have with me Lisa Collins, and Lisa and I first met during COVID, right?
Yeah, we do.
At Kelly Clark Zoom class, because at that point in time, no one was doing in-person fun things like this.
Yeah.
And how many people do you think were in that class with us?
There were at least 50. I think she said 52 in the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
But live, I think only like 10 people showed up.
Oh, no. I think there were more. Yeah.
Maybe it's
There were-
because I could only see 10 people on my Zoom.
That's right. Because you and Liz would sit at the table.
Yeah, Liz,
And-
Liz, who works for me.
Right.
uh,
And all we'd see is the top of your head in
we're working
in the
away,
frame.
Yeah.
So,
And Lisa was like, ended up being Kelly's tech genius. Was
well,
that kind of an accident.
I just took the because, things were very hard. All of us trying to navigate how to demonstrate, show people things. And so I took some of her videos and I edited them. We videotaped the Zoom and I edited, and then I put it out on the Facebook page.
Which was really nice.
And
So,
it was helpful to everybody.
I mean,
yeah.
during COVID, most of us needle pointers are not by nature super techy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they don't.
Who has the time?
Those tasks don't really go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
And so everything that I've learned, I've been taught really by a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say that. My kids were probably in their 20s, of course, but yeah, I mean, we're old, so we need help from the younger people. And what do you do what's your background? Is your background in tech?
No, I'm a French major. I can speak French fluently.
Who knew?
I
just
lived
learned
over
something
there.
About that.
Yep, I got my degree planning on never doing anything useful.
Well, you ended up being very, very helpful to Kelly Clark. I know that. But
I take on stuff and then I deep dive. So I do IT and, I just get interested in something. Right now I'm obsessed with medieval history and, I just go on a rant. And so I had already made videos using Apple's tools. And so I'd already edited them. I'd already knew how to do that. And so I just fell into offering to do it for her. And she was very open to it, which is nice.
she is a lovely, lovely lady.
Yeah.
So that is how we first met. I've been fortunate enough then to have Lisa continue to be a customer of mine. And she is lovely to work with. But we are here together at this Needlepoint Is Cool retreat. And I know you've been to a good number of retreats because you've been to the Pointing It Out podcast retreat.
I sure
right?
was. I was at your first one.
My first one, it's evolved and it's different. I think it's a little better now, but you know.
Well, you know, you add to it every time, much like your weekly shows. You always have something new to surprise us with something. Every week there's something new and
Well,
it's never the same old thing. So
we learn from, I can't say our mistakes, but you learn with everything, like how to make it better. So
yeah.
we're always evolving. So, and you've been to other retreats outside of that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Let's
So,
see.
okay, let's back up. You are from the West Coast,
I'm
correct?
from San Francisco Bay Area. Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe that tech is a little innate because
Right.
what's the word I'm looking for? You learn by
Yeah,
being
osmosis or
present.
just trying to,
Osmosis, there we
yeah.
go.
Or, you know, a car with no driver and it goes by and you don't remark anymore. You know, you just don't even look.
God, what a dream to the needle pointer.
Yeah,
honestly.
right. Right. Get in your pod and then just tell it where to go and
You
yeah,
can stitch the whole way.
the whole way.
It's great.
Right.
Okay, so you're from the West Coast. You've been to retreats in Detroit and Chicago. Where else have you been?
Well, so post-COVID is when, you know, everything started to bloom with shops doing that. And you were one of the first. So you set the bar for that. And you did.
Megan did. I made Megan do it first. 'cause
Well,
I was
Megan was,
scared.
you're right. Megan was the first and she said it and then you then did it. And I have not been able to get into her retreat, but I do go around to different shops around the country and I learn from different teachers.
Okay.
And so those are often 3 and 4 day, you know,
Right.
events of some sort. And this one, I had been going to Emily's a lot in Chicago for some classes.
great
She has great teachers come in. And so I fly in for all of those and then,
And you're originally from the Chicago
and I am
area, so it
originally.
feels very much like home to you.
Yes, but I've gone all over and I get to see the specialness of each shop. Each shop does have its own
For sure.
environment,
Personality.
right? Its own things it focuses on. I get to see what with the two of you, I get to see what it's like to run business. And you and one of my favorite pointing out podcasts is the one you talk about the finishing.
Oh,
That
that was still dangerous
Yeah.
territory, but
it was fascinating. You talk about things that people would never imagine you have to deal with as a business owner. And
right.
so I like that about it.
Well,
And
thank you.
anyway, but back to retreats. Yes. So I've seen all the fun foods people do, all the different campuses they offer exclusively for these. And we have one for this.
Yes, we
well.
talked
We had-
about the merchandise, which was fabulous. There's a
Yep.
great project bag, a tote bag. What I didn't bring over, maybe I will bring that over for the next go round, is they had Gayla Elliott create her stitching girls that everyone is familiar with.
You know,
But in a 5-inch round, I believe
Yeah.
it's a 5-inch.
sure.
And there's 2 versions. There's a stitching girl and it says Needlepoint is Cool. And one looks like Deb and one looks like Emily,
Emily.
which couldn't be any more darling.
And
So,
that sort of specialization now is really necessary because you can go out on the internet and find all kinds of things everywhere. So trying to do things specific is really the trend, isn't it? But here's a bit of bling. And this is what
Yeah.
I'd been hoping for a long time.
there
And I
we go.
got one.
Yeah.
I got the Needlepoint Is Cool.
So now I have a stack. I showed off
Oh, did you?
this one first. This was when this first one Patty made when they were rolling out Needlepoint is Cool. So this has some more like floral painted and it says Needlepoint is Cool. If you know, you know, with the little acronym.
If you know, you know. Oh,
And so now the new one is a little more gemstone-y as opposed to painted beads. So now I've got like a lovely little stack going on.
I want them to distribute those. I
Really
think it'd be
cute.
fun for people to have those in the shops. I think it's a great idea.
For sure. Well, yeah. Well, so what are you stitching like here?
I
Have you stitched yet?
I did. Last night I stitched a little
Okay.
piece that I'm working on that I got from Emily's, but I am doing this one because it's a great travel one and it's the one you did for the purses, the bespoke purses that have the
Recycled.
repurposed, recycled. And
Yeah.
so I got the purse
So
and I've been working on the colors of Praise Belt that's going to be
you
the
are
cross
almost
bar.
done,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, well,
Are you just at the very tip?
and because I'm tall, I'm gonna go farther.
You're gonna make
So I
up
get
your
to make
own.
up a little and it's
Very
gonna be at the
fun.
belt, at the buckle part anyway. So it's
Right.
not like, and so I did this, I
gosh.
did it all in
So good.
Vineyard Silk, which I love that you guys got me. And I
Really
did
great.
change this out. I didn't do white, I did blue.
Smart,
Yeah.
because white on a
White.
purse strap
This-
isn't
this
necessarily
look.
the best
And I
choice.
put my stuff
Look how good
like
it looks. And you got all the way to then. So I think you made it up from about there out. or
Yeah,
maybe-
no, just from here.
Okay.
This was the end.
Looks really good. Yeah.
And I got a second one because I'm gonna make my dog a collar to match. So
Cute.
we'll be little matchies as we.
I love it. And she has the most darling dog. I've seen pictures of her dog
think
and we have
so.
to talk about that too. But, yeah, so a well
Put it on
loved
the
dog.
frame. I got it on the frame so that I
Just a
can
little at a
do it.
time.
Yeah, and I do a little at a time, and yep, and that's all.
Awesome. That is a great, great travel piece for sure.
It is. It's great. It's easy. It's basket weaving.
So yeah, so when you come to a retreat like this, you bring something to work on. Sometimes it's all day, like we've talked with Christine, there's a class version in the afternoon. But you bring whatever you want to work on. And I think the smartest thing you can do is bring something that's like really simple for you, whatever simple for you is.
In fact, advice to anybody who hasn't gotten into one yet, but who does eventually in the lottery, for Melissa, what I discovered on mine was I brought a project and I was going to work on my project and it had complex stitch guide, got no stitching done.
We do a lot more talking, a
Talking.
lot of shopping. I've already been shopping. I showed off the lake
Yeah.
tool that I'm bringing home with me.
Oh, there, yeah,
So-
that's a great one. And you look at everybody else's work and you
Right.
talk about what they're doing and
So great.
yeah, and so words of the wise, take something you can look up and talk to people and
Put down easily. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good. Well, I'm looking forward to stitching with you today and tonight and tomorrow. So yay. Well, thanks for joining me, Lisa. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Melissa.
Okay, I am back with Sarah and I just met Sarah. Sarah Friel, right? I'm saying that right. And you are local to
I am.
Chicago.
This is my home shop,
So do you live in Naperville?
Fur Ridge.
Okay. My daughter just told me that Naperville is the safest city in the country. It's been ranked the safest city in the country. And I said, oh boy, well, I'm coming to you. We were laughing at dinner last night. I was with all my kids. We were laughing because I'm coming from Detroit. My other daughter spent a lot of time in St. Louis and the other daughter spent a lot of time in New Orleans. We're like, clearly safety is not top on our list because we're coming to these like kind of sketchy cities that I all adore. And I actually don't think they're sketchy at all. But anyways, apparently Naperville is the safest place in the country. How about that?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Naperville. So you told me that you are obviously, and I didn't know this because I saw you stitching something kind of simple, but then she pulled out her stocking. So you are far from an inexperienced stitcher. You're a very experienced stitcher. It's like,
I started again during COVID and was fortunate enough to take a class and we were all in masks, which was uncomfortable.
yeah.
And yeah, I just, pulled some canvases out from a shop that went out of business and was selling Christmas stockings at a discount. And I purchased a couple of them and I had no idea what to do. So I came to a workshop in a class locally and started learning decorative stitches.
Well,
And
taking it on by storm. That's
well,
for sure.
thank you.
So,
The side of my stockings always have a lot of practice stitches.
and that's the best place.
It
to
really is.
A lot of people have like a doodle canvas that they practice on. I don't have that. I'm a side of the canvas girl too. And sometimes I'm also just a dive in. Like I'm not someone, if I have a dinner party, I'm just like, try this recipe and hope it works out. That's kind of how I approach my stitching.
That's very brave of you.
Or stupid, one of the two, it's debatable. So you are a very experienced stitcher, but you told me that you have not been to a retreat before.
No, and what a lovely surprise. I'm meeting people from all over the country. I love hearing all the different accents. There's
There are a
some,
lot of different accents here.
I just met somebody from Connecticut who works in a shop I've been following online. My daughter just moved to Connecticut and I can't wait to visit her shop when I visit my
Nice.
daughter.
Nice. Well, the other thing I have to laugh about, I'm like, will you be in the podcast with me? And I kind of got to look like, what are you talking about? Because you haven't watched the podcast before either. So now you're going to have to watch the podcast because you'll have been on it.
I'll be a viewer, a frequent viewer.
So I love that. So first, so what were you expecting and what has happened that you expected? Maybe what has happened that you didn't expect so far or early on in the day? I realize.
Right. And there was a little hiccup with the delivery. And the best thing about needle pointers is we roll with it.
Yes.
We're amongst fellow stitchers. We all love to stitch. We all love to look at everybody else's canvases. And we're having portillos for lunch and the smell is driving me crazy. And, I've got great ideas from other stitchers. One of them does a needlepoint exchange, needlepoint ornament exchange with strangers.
right?
And I'm like, what a great idea. So, it's just another way to see other needle pointers from around the country. And I'm loving how many flew into Chicago for today's event.
Absolutely. I even flew from Detroit, which is kind of funny because I could have driven, but flew too. That was really great. So have you been to Emily's? Do you go there
I
regularly?
have been there before, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Sometimes in Chicago, it takes a while to travel on the expressways, and I'd rather be stitching, to be quite
Right.
honest.
Well, I was surprised when she said it was an hour and a half. I thought they were like 20 minutes apart. I didn't know.
Nothing's 20 minutes apart. It takes me 40 minutes to get here from my home, and this is a local shop for me.
Right. Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. So let's talk about what you're stitching. You have this gorgeous stocking. So was this one that was bought at the
At the
fire sale?
Yes, yes. So I've had it for like 15 years, and it's almost done.
So this is a Melissa Shirley stocking. And did it come in those colors or did you change
No,
some colors?
No, they are all the colors.
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
when I first bought it, my son was a toddler, and he just graduated from Northwestern.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's off the payroll. So
Oh,
now
finally.
maybe have
Finally.
more stitching dollars.
And so with the purple robe, I decided to not stitch the names at the top. I find that a little restricting with the lettering. And so in the book, Secrets of a Christmas Stocking
Right.
Stitcher,
Yes, confession. Stocking stitcher.
I love the name tags on the side.
So yeah, there's been a big kind of discussion in the needlepoint world. So I'm gonna grab this one more time.
Okay.
Typically on stockings, they're designed where this area that Sarah has done this gorgeous green on green, beautiful stitch. That area is typically designed to put a name on it. But I think, and I don't know who first came up with this thought process, someone much smarter than I am, said, well, if you put a name on it, then we hate to think about this, but we're making family heirlooms. So you hate to think about giving this to someone who someday will die, but that's the cycle of life, right? We're born, there's only one way into and one way out of this world. So if you have the name on it, then it's hard to kind of pass it down to the next generation. So there's a big thought process now of adding a tag to the side of it. And Sarah has just started this today. You just
Yes,
started it today?
yes. So Northwestern has a very Gothic font for its logo.
Branding.
Yeah. And so I sketched out on graph paper his name, Nathan, in this Gothic font.
Very
And I
nice.
just started stitching it. So,
Perfect.
and then I'll get the same petite lame thread in purple and green for the cording.
Really pretty.
If it gets passed down, I kind of like the idea that, the original recipient of the stocking could be on the reverse side of the name tag,
Absolutely.
and then the next person here.
Yeah.
Or just adding name tags for the same stocking,
Right.
on top of each other.
Or the tag could even we haven't seen this yet because I feel like this is like a newer phenomenon, but I almost envision it too, like maybe the original gets sewn onto the back of the toe or
That's a
something.
great idea.
And there's all sorts of things. you
Yeah,
can do
so
with
the
it.
history, you could have the history of the name tags coming
Right.
down the
It's
back of the
kinda like a
stocking.
version of the family Bible, maybe. I
I
don't
like
know.
it. I like it.
But yeah, so then Nathan Jr. or whatever that his or her child may be someday, if that's what God brings his family, can just keep adding into it.
And we have a small mantle, so there's only room for so many stockings. So this is my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. When he does marry, I can just do another name tag for his spouse.
And they
And
can share it. I like that. I hadn't thought about that. That's really, really great. Well, this is phenomenal. I can't believe that you have created this beauty when it sounds like you're a newly reborn stitcher. Not that many years ago. So fantastic.
It's been a lot of fun.
It is gorgeous. So
Thank you.
again, Santa in this purple robe, this gorgeous bear with you just done long and short down here.
Yeah, encroaching.
Oh, it's
And
so
then-
beautiful.
And then I really like experimenting with the shading. So I can use darker ones here to kind of give it a dimensional look. And then a shorter stitch in a different direction for his face.
Well, you have a very artistic eye for sure, and clearly you have learned a lot in your newest era as a stitcher. So-
And I do have to give a shout out to Linda Sikorsky, who gave me the stitch guide
Okay,
for
so
this.
I don't know Linda. I've not had a good fortune of taking a class with Linda, but my good friend Terry, who I talk about a lot on the podcast, used to take classes with Linda, and she's phenomenal. I do have a couple of her books, I think. So yeah, really, really great. So, well, thank you for joining us. I am looking forward to spending more time with you this weekend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you hopping on. Thanks. Okay, so we are back and I have two new friends. I actually met Debbie and Cammy at the hotel that I stopped at for about 30 seconds before we hopped in our shuttle over here, right? And Debbie Fink is on my right and Cammy Vale is on my left. And have you guys attended retreats before?
We have. We enjoy going to retreats. We enjoy going to retreats that have project-based things, and we also enjoy just going for the community and doing our own stitching.
And did I hear you've been stitching together for just a couple years? I say
Just
tongue
a
in cheek.
couple of years, yeah. We actually know each other from college and we have been stitching, as you can tell, like 2 or 3 years.
So where did you go to college together?
University of California at Davis.
Oh, but you both live on the East Coast now? Do I have that right?
No, I live in South Carolina and Cammy lives in California.
Okay, so one East Coast, one
Yes.
West Coast, and you still find time to get together. So I feel like the stitching is what kind of has kept you together. Is that a fair statement?
Part of it. Our families have kept us together. Our husbands are very supportive of us getting together at least once a year because they know how close we are and how we're more fun when we're together, as my husband says. You know, I'm a happier person when Debbie's around. So
Yeah, well, happy wives make for a happy life.
Yeah,
That old
yeah.
time statement. So
right.
I love it. So have you been to Stitcher's Garden before? Is this?
No, I've not been to either one of these. I haven't been to Chicago since I was in my 20s, so.
Okay, and Stitcher's Garden and Emily Stitchery did not exist when you were in your 20s. That I know. Well, nice. So this is a new experience for you. And Emily's will be new for all three of us tomorrow because I haven't been there yet either. So
So I've been to Emily's.
you have.
I have. 2 years ago, I went on a baseball road trip to visit the MLB parks and stopped and saw needlepoint stores in every town I was in, including Detroit when I came to yours. So Emily's was the one I came to in Chicago.
Nice.
So
nice. And have you by chance met Leslie McAllister? Do you know who that is? I love
The name?
Needlepoint.
yes,
She is a big stitcher and she has done the same thing.
Oh,
traveling
really?
To different
Oh,
baseball
nice.
fields. So
yeah, fun.
you will cross paths with her at some
Great.
point. I am sure of that. And did you tell me that you both together have been to the Needlepoint Clubhouse for their rainbow
Yes,
retreat?
yeah, that was our boondoggle last year.
Very
And it was great.
It
We
was
had
a
such a
lot of
great time there.
good. And let's talk about what you are stitching today.
So, when we discovered when we were at the Needlepoint Clubhouse that we'd like to do a smaller project that we can do while we're there. And we did the throw kindness around like confetti, Olivia
On that
Gray
canvas.
when we were there. And this time we're doing a Love You More with the hat
Oh my
and, so the trick hat, so it kind of reminds me of the Hogwarts hat for Christmas.
I love it. And I have to admit, I said to them, well, grab what you're stitching when you come up for filming. And I didn't realize that they had matching projects. So, yeah, really, really fun. So do you have future trips in mind?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Here, we're going on a road trip through Ohio to see all the stores in
So
Ohio.
you'll go to Louise's.
Go to Louisa's, what's the point? Park Avenue,
Oh,
absolutely, Cincinnati,
Cincinnati, yeah.
Cincinnati,
Wool
and
and floss, or wool, not wool and the floss, wool and the
Wool and
willow,
floss.
sorry.
then we're throwing in a quilt store, Sue Spago's quilt store.
How
And the
fun is
donut
that?
trail.
And the
Donut
donut trail.
trail.
How could we forget about the donut trail?
And you have to go to Jenny's ice cream.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, black
Yeah.
raspberry. Oh, yes,
I like
yes.
the tiramisu personally, but you know.
Okay.
We actually walked by a Jenny's last night and my kids are like, we are going to get ice cream, right? And I'm like, they fed me all day long. Of course, I swiped, they picked, but we did donuts, we did lunch, we did tapas, we did dinner. So by the time I got to ice cream, I'm like, no, even I have to say no sometimes. So it was a great day though. Chicago's a fantastic city.
Yeah.
And they have, I should have asked Deb this. I feel like they have like 7 stores in the metropolitan area. Does that sound familiar to you guys? None of us are
Yeah,
from
I don't
Chicago,
know.
so they're very lucky to have
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
shops. But yet they're still all kind of far apart. Like none of
Yeah,
them are on
yeah.
top of each other, which is really great.
Yeah.
So it is a fun city to be in. So I know that there's been a few conversations with people here today that they're hoping to someday get into the pointing it out, which Megan and I love to hear, but we hate that we disappoint people. We will have a retreat coming up. The fall is always in St. Louis. So that will be probably in early October, but I'm waiting for the final word from Megan. And then we will do the Detroit retreat in probably late April in Detroit next year. So
So
I
Debbie,
see.
are you available in those days if we get in? Okay, so am I.
so good. Well, keep applying. We actually do it by lottery. There's a random number generator. And every year I say, I hope only 66 people apply and then I don't have to
Yes.
disappoint anyone. But
Yeah.
I think attending retreats is a fabulous experience.
It's
Fabulous. It's the best.
It really is. I
Have
mean,
you been to other ones besides, you said the St. Louis one and here?
Right, and in Old World Designs in Menlo Park, they have a retreat every year
And-
down in Carmel. So with June McKnight comes.
Oh,
So
that's
it's really fun.
So funny story about Linda. What's Linda's last name? here?
Mendenhall.
Thank you. When my kids were like in first grade, I did her Noah's Ark book.
Oh, yeah.
It's still not done yet. My kids are
Oh.
amazed. But every year I get like one more done. But then I ran into Linda and I'd only ever talked to her on the phone. And I heard her talking and she has a very distinct voice.
Yeah.
And I'm blind in one eye, so I feel like I hear voices like maybe better. They stick with me more than other people. And I heard her talking and I went up and I introduced myself to her and she remembered me. And it was like
She
15
remembers
years
everybody.
yeah,
She's amazing.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, now I go back to California more, but when I first moved to Connecticut, Cammy came to me. I didn't really go to Cammy. But Linda would always knew who I was.
Yeah.
So that was before Zoom or anything. So
I think needle pointers in general are very
Yeah.
special people. I forgot one thing and I don't know how we're gonna do this. We
Oh.
have to show the back of your jacket.
Uh,
So here, Cammy and I are gonna slide out for a second and let Debbie turn around because she looks so cute. So you guys she has this darling jacket on, but then I saw the back. Look at this American flag. Hey, do you remember who the designer is of this?
I don't. It's Needlepoint Is.
I should remember who the designer is, but Linda, or excuse me, we're talking about Linda. Debbie has stitched this fabulously, used different stitches, added those star buttons. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. So
thank you.
yeah, so she like turned around. I'm like, so cute. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with the two of you this weekend.
Yay.
Thank you.
So are we. Thank you.
Keep applying to the Pointing It Out podcast.
Yes.
Too. Everyone out there. Someday everyone will get a turn, assuming
right.
that I live long enough for that. But I'm gonna try. So
Great.
thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
Melissa.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.